I would like to speak about what is a normal immediate postpartum and what is normal in a newborn. We can imagine that the baby is born, then we have the birth of the placenta, we know our fruits. Then, for the mother, the immediate postpartum, of course, what what we have an eye on is her bleeding to be in the range of normal. Her general state will give us an indication on this range of normal. To keep in mind that one mother can bleed a lot immediately after birth at once, and another mother will bleed for several days or weeks after the birth. So I would like to say that it's about developing a feeling and an intuition on what is to be regarded as normal. We also will look at the placenta, that everything is intact, the membranes and the placental itself, that there are no remaining tissue inside the womb. We will have a look on the general state of the mother. I was, for instance, at a birth where the mother was not in a very good general state until she had very much pain for her during the after contractions after the placenta was born already. The pain was excruciating. She was very pale, and like her presence was not reassuring. And it was only until the midwife asked her to squat over a bowl, and until she had birthed a big, how do you call it? Like a big lump of blood and tissue that was almost as big as the baby's head. So a bit smaller, but still it was quite impressive. After that, she gathers strength again. So I would say the general state of the mother would be an important indicator for her well-being, but also that for the state of her womb. Okay, so the mother, we have the bleeding, then we can have a look at her vagina, look at the tearing, but without interrupting the return and the immediate postpartum and the bonding. So this would be led to a time after a few hours, like we can have a look at her vagina, if there is massive tear or not, and then discuss on the healing modality that should be pursued. Then, being in charge or responsible of the health of the newborn is much more intimidating to me personally. But listening to you, it's kind of reassuring. But when I go into like what can go wrong or what is to be looked at, like that is something that I would like to gain confidence in. I have made myself a little list of things that we have to check in the newborn. So the most obvious would be the breathing, that the breathing is natural, and we all know what natural breathing is. So and what would not be what would raise an eyebrow, as you say, would be the grunting. So if a baby breathes like very when we see that the little body makes an effort to breathe out or to breathe in, like that would be the other way of breathing that would alert us and that we would keep under close observation. All of this keeping in mind that we are aiming to possibly not transfer, because once the transfer happens, there will be a lot of intervention with the primary bonding phase of the family, and the whole experience will be ripped out of the family's control or sovereignty. So so we would keep it under observation. What is acceptable, what is still a mid range of normal, is when the baby accelerates the breath and then decelerates and goes into an apnea. So this type of breathing can be acceptable. Of course, I think that we will also keep an eye on it, and we will get a feeling for when this type of breathing also will become indicative for something underlying, let's say. Then we have the skin color. The skin color should be pinkish. We can do the test of pinching the finger, the thumb, and it becomes white around, and when maximum within 3 seconds after releasing, it should become pink again. Otherwise, we can state that there is difficulties with oxygenation. The mucus also should be of pinkish color. Then we have the issue called cyanosis, so that is blue coloring around the mouth and of hands and feet. Can be accepted as a variation of normal, and what should absolutely raise an eyebrow is when the trunk, so the body of the baby, the chest and trunk, is of a blue coloration. Then that will be of a concern. We can check the fontanelle. The fontanelle should not be bumping out nor bumping in. Bumping in can be a sign of dehydration. And bumping out can be a sign of infection. Then the cry of the baby should be like a strong and lusty cry in a healthy baby. What would alert us is the cri de chat, that like a cat, something like that, would be alerting. Then the skull can have oedemas from birth or hematomas. Both are acceptable. Hematomas we can use arnica or silica as a homeopathic remedy. Then I would say this other, checking the yeast inside the mouth is probably not like in the first hours after birth or days. I think before leaving a mother we would, not days, the yeast in the mouth I think would not occur immediately after birth or would not be checked immediately after birth. So what I said just now can be checked in the immediate hours after birth, and I think it would also make sense to make sure that that the baby is sucking and the breastfeeding has been initiated before leaving the mother to the family to themselves. And also, yeah, I like the way you say that, like, not interfere with breastfeeding, to not like hush the baby onto the breast and like kind of push on that for whatever reason we would have behind that. It should be just as natural and unrushed, unpressured experience as birth itself. Then for later on checkups, I wrote down, so the yeast that can be, like, if we have an indication for that, can be treated, should be treated. We can check the testicles if they drop down into the scrotum. And vaginal discharge for girls is normal. And then the reflexes can be checked. So I wrote down what would be normal reflexes, although I think this would be checked by pediatrician. And I think that the most families that I personally will work with will further on move to pediatric care for the newborn concern, like work with a pediatrician for checkups. Okay.